We women didn't have an option to be anything else other than the woman behind the man for a really long time. Now we do.
Learn the ways of the goddess and accomplish much more with so much less effort. Welcome to Your Goddess Awakened with Halle, Eavelyn, a show dedicated to helping you embrace your divine feminine and nurture your inner goddess for a radiant life. We invite you to join us every week to receive goddess wisdom that will help you through your current obstacles and lifelong traumas. Awaken the goddess within you and transform your business and your life, only here on Your Goddess Awakened.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Your Goddess Awakened. This one is about all of us women and what we can do to support each other more than we have been. And even if you think of yourself as being completely compassionate and a wonderful friend, and I'm sure that you are, we see online right now that a lot of us are not being supportive of the sisterhood. And when I say that, I mean of the other women in our lives and in our world, even if we don't know them. And what starts to happen is there's a fair amount of danger that we will delay the good, delay the coming back of the goddess and that energy of that circle by being too much in the masculine principles that we have all grown up with and been trained to just follow along with. And I'll give you an example. Not my favorite person in the world, but I have deep compassion for her at the moment, Melania Trump. And I mean, she has been raised in an environment where it is definitely certain that she has been invited into believing in herself as a sex symbol whose value is in her looks, whose value is as arm candy. She is certainly not really valued for her brain. Honestly, I don't know whether that's whether she has much of a brain or not. It's not really the point. I read an article the other day that talked about the fact that there's somebody who knew them was saying, well, there's more in it for her to stay than go. And I was thinking, this is where this compassionate piece comes from. I was thinking, what an awful choice to be given right now to stay with this really odious human being that from many of the pictures that I've seen, she doesn't seem to really care for at all, or to go out into this vast unknown where she would be asked to stand on her own 2 feet and to not know whether she has enough of her own power to be willing to do that. And that's a woman who I suppose, even if she doesn't have a lot of her own money, would certainly have enough to have a really great life. But women stay in destructive relationships. Women stay in non-empowering relationships. And I'm not just talking about the kind of non-empowering where, you and your spouse fight, or you've outlived a lot of some of the choices that you've made in being together in the first place. I mean, the kind of relationships where your life is in danger, not you necessarily, but I see this with women, and in my coaching work, I have talked to many women who have been in that circumstance in the past before they found their own power, before they found their own feelings of allowing themselves permission to get out of a destructive relationship. And it's really interesting to me to see how society tells us that we need to stay. Society tells us that we need to be stuck. I can't tell you how many women who have left who say one of the main reasons that they stayed was that their mothers told them that they had to. Their mothers said to them, you married this person and therefore this is your obligation. Go back if she had left, or stay if she was thinking about leaving, even when she was being beaten, even when she was being raped. And, this is women helping to perpetuate against other women inadvertently, because you want the best for the other person, but the way that you were raised is inside of a world that says that that's still okay. To say to a Melania Trump, you have to weigh whether there's more in it for you to stay or to go, that's crazy to me. It was a very similar situation with Charles and Diana. And if you've been watching The Crown lately, you've probably seen the episodes where Diana is expressing herself in a creative way. She's expressing herself from the heart. And all that happens with her husband is he feels marginalized. He feels less than because she's the one that's out in front and his ego gets harmed. I myself was in a relationship for a really long time where I was, I thought I was happy being the woman behind the man. I think it was Eleanor Roosevelt who said that behind every man, there's a woman. Behind every great man, there's a woman. But it was for sure a choice that I was making. And we women didn't have an option to be anything else other than the woman behind the man for a really long time. Now we do. Now we can choose to be out there on our own, to change everything about the way that we show up, because we get to pick ourselves first and our partners get added to that. And when I see women online who are, shaming people who are making those choices, who are standing up and standing out and saying this isn't okay. I mean, Chrissy Teigen recently left Instagram because of all the trolling that she was receiving, and it was not just from men. And this is a woman who ostensibly, she's married to this beautiful singer and John Legend, and they have great kids, and she's beautiful, and she's a, former supermodel, but now she's got her own brand, and she's leaving a platform that would allow her a great deal of publicity and a great deal of power because she's tired of being told that she's too fat or that she's unattractive or that she's not enough just as she is. And sisters, we need to begin to make choices to call out our own behavior, our own negative behavior. When Meghan Markle makes choices, even if she's making choices for herself and her husband, what's wrong with that? Where do we come off saying that she doesn't have the right to make those choices for her future family or for her current relationship with her husband, or even for, whether that power struggle that must be going on underneath of everything is just too much to bear. And each of us has these options inside of our own current environment. There are compromises that I'm making to be in my relationship. There are compromises that you are making to be in your relationship or to be in relationship with the other women in your life. It's just when you see it happening, when you see other women in that struggle and you don't help them, we're hurting everyone. We're not often aware of that because we don't think of it that way, but we're really hurting the overall sisterhood by not coming together and being there for each other, regardless of skin color, regardless of class, regardless of background, regardless of whether that other woman is a stranger to you. And so I really want to encourage you today to be there for each other. And one of the ways that you can do that is to be there for yourself first. Imposter syndrome comes from this story that we tell ourselves that someone else has something that we don't have, and that we are not enough just as we are, that we are not enough, and that we need that other thing, or because of the way that we were raised with lack in our hearts, because we were raised around poverty of some kind, whether that's money poverty or love poverty or looks poverty, it doesn't even matter. When we have a chance to look at other people and see that they have something that we want, we can draw that closer to us. Wouldn't it be wonderful to know that when you see the Chrissy Teigens of the world who are in a love relationship or have the beauty or the looks or the glamour or the whatever, that we said to ourselves, some of that for me, please. I am calling that energy closer to me as opposed to pushing it off. I am bringing it in by saying some of that for me, please. That tells my higher power, the goddess, the universe, God, whatever your favorite word is, that tells our higher power, hey, putting you on notice, I'll take that. I'll take that too. I want that added to me. When we say, oh, she has that and I don't, we're basically sending that out into the universe instead. We're saying to the universe, to God, to goddess, again, take your favorite word and substitute it for whatever it is that I'm saying. We're saying, when we say that person has that and I don't, that's the message that we're sending. And I like to say God is literal and has no sense of humor. So God's like, okay, no problem. She has that and you don't. And when that thing that we see in that other person triggers us, when we get angry or upset, those are our triggers. When we feel bad because of that other person, those are our triggers. And when you have that trigger, recognize it, acknowledge it, and say to yourself, that's me wishing that I had that thing. And feeling that I have that imposter syndrome. I'm not that person yet. I want to be, and I'm not. I wish that I had that, and I don't. And then choose instead the thought, some of that for me, please. And allow that energy to come closer. Because as you do, and remember, at the highest level, we are all one. At the highest level, we are being invited to recognize that in our oneness, we do have that thing, and that that person is the way shower for us of what is possible for us. What delicious feelings that would be when we see the Chrissy Teigens of the world, or the Meghan Markles of the world, or the Oprah Winfreys, or the Allie Browns, or whatever it is that's your personal shero. And we say, I'm so excited because if she has that, I can have it too. If she's a best-selling author, I am a best-selling author. If she has multi-millions of dollars, I have multi-millions of dollars. If she has a happy home life with a partner that's her beloved, or children who adore her, I have that too. And then to also recognize, and if anybody has read Nutri-Glamorous, my new book, you've heard me talk about this, or you've listened to it, you've heard me talk about this, or you've read it and seen it. We have this ability to say to ourselves, not just some of that for me, please, but also that I get to have her energy as my energy. I am taking that on. I am accepting that for myself. And that is so powerful because the universe wants that for you. God wants that for you. And it's such an opportunity. I mean, I just feel so much joy talking about it because it erases imposter syndrome completely, and it allows us to welcome in something bigger and bigger and bigger for ourselves. What a great opportunity to say, whatever I see that she has that I want, I'm going to compliment her on it. I'm going to cheer her on, knowing that I can have that too. Now that is a sisterhood that we can all get behind. I hope you've enjoyed this episode of Your Goddess Awakened. I hope that you will choose to subscribe, like, follow, and please get back to me with any comments. If there's topics that you'd like me to address in future episodes, I would love to hear from you. All of my social profiles are public, and I'd love to get a chance to interact with you. Until next time, blessings.
You have just listened to another enlightening and transforming episode of Your Goddess Awakened with Halle Eavelyn. We hope you enjoyed your time with us and join us again next time so you can continue your journey towards a full transformation. For additional resources and to learn more about working with Halle Eavelyn, visit halleevelyn.com. Receive more, do less, and love your life. Only here on Your Goddess Awakened.